Brighton and Hove buses have honoured Albion superfan and community campaigner Mary Emery by naming a bus after her. The Mary Emery bus was launched at the Amex Stadium on the 1st of August, where relatives, friends and admirers attended the event. She followed Brighton and Hove Albion devoutedly for 89 years and was at the vanguard of a passionate campaign to save the team in the 1990s. They faced financial ruin and accusations of board mismanagement, eventually losing their Goldstone home ground in 1997. Her son, Robert Emery, said she became involved in demonstrations on the seafront against the club's directors after a fellow supporter suggested her presence would lend a new perspective to the protests. I spoke to Robert and asked him what he thinks Mary would have thought about the bus.
I think there are two things about the bus. One, she would have been amused because she had a wicked sense of humour and that was useful during the campaign. But also because she was Sussex through and Brighton through in this football club, she'd have been very proud today. Very proud.
He also went on to tell me a bit more about Mary's history and how the new bus came about.
Mary had been a major campaigner and for a long time, been a fan for 89 years, been very active in the campaign for a new stadium, replacing directors who were less than interested in the club and had really campaigned rigorously. She'd been to Downing Street, been to demonstrations, written, protested, done a lot of work on radio and television. And when she died in February, people said to me, we need to do a bit more for her about her life. She had a good write-up in Matchday programme in Arsenal, was absolutely wonderful. But we said we need to do a bit more, and we spoke to the bus company, and we put the story together. And Martin Harris, chief executive of the bus company, said, what do we do next? Where do we launch this? And I said, there's only one place where you can launch this for a supporter of 89 years, and that has to be here today at the Amex. It's the beginning of a new season.
Mary's love for the Seagulls was ignited in 1929 when she was just 5 years old, after watching them beat Clapton Orient in a Division 3 game. Her love for the Albion remained strong until she sadly passed away aged 93 in February this year. In 2003, Mary represented supporters alongside DJ Fatboy Slim, football presenter Des Lynam and Paul Samra, when they delivered more than 6,500 letters to 10 Downing Street, pleading with the government to approve plans for a new 22,000 capacity stadium in Falmer. She lived to see the new Amex Stadium at Falmer that she helped make possible. Mary was also a well-known community campaigner and fought for a range of local issues, including saving St Helen's Church in Hangleton and supporting the Brighton Breast Cancer Unit. Martin Harris, managing director of the Brighton and Hove Bus Company and Metrobus, was one of the guests who attended the event to pay tribute, and he told me why he believed it was important that Mary was honoured on one of the buses.
Mary Emery's son Robert contacted me to say, Mary had sadly passed away in February this year, and would we consider honouring her memory on one of our buses as part of our bus naming scheme. And Robert told me about her story, the fantastic work she'd done campaigning when the club was in real difficulties during the 90s, and then campaigning to support getting planning permission for the new stadium. And I just thought it was a fantastic story, so rooted in the community and so important to the communities that we serve, to have a thriving, not just thriving, but an absolutely fantastic football club to be proud of. And so we're honoured really that we can just help share some of Mary's story by putting her name on the bus and it being part of our bus naming scheme. But we're also going to tell some of Mary's stories inside the bus as well, with some additional information, just so people know what Mary's story really was all about.
This is Dale McCartney for Latest TV News.